Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pets or Family. I'm Tricia Montgomery, along with
Jessica Abernathy,
your host for this fun and informative video podcast where we talk about the real issues that matter to you as pet parents and way more. How do you make your pets feel like family?
Hi, Tricia. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Jessica. How are you? I hear it's pretty cold up there, a little snow.
I don't understand. Today so far we've had snow, rain, sleet. Apparently it's going to hail, and I guarantee the sun will come out. It's spring. It's spring here, you know? I don't know. We'll see. Welcome to spring in the Midwest. Woohoo!
Those springtime in Chicago, you never know what's going to happen. Here in the South, we've got some great weather. Also, I just want to mention, we just had a couple comments from viewers. I was not naked on the last podcast. I have an off-the-shoulder shirt on, so a little bit warmer where I am there. Just to let you know, I do have clothes on. So
yeah, I noticed you wore our jacket today. I think is that so that you know that she's not naked. I would not let her be naked on this. Come on, seriously. It's not
even know though.
Podcast. Seriously, it's family friendly. We want kids to listen and learn about animals. You know, we're not going to have a naked person on here. Good.
My gosh, absolutely. You know, today we've got Courtney Pierce coming on, and she is the executive director for Paws Humane Society out of Columbus, Georgia. And excited to have her on. She's going to be addressing and talking a little bit about community cats. You know, what is community cats? TNR. Some people see these cats with an ear tip going on, and they may not be aware of why there's an ear tip going on. There's a lot of people out there right now that are feeding communities of cats and what that's all about. And she's got a pretty exciting event coming up at Paws Humane Society called Barks and Blues. And that's where they have all of these vans and just vendors, and it's going to be super fun. So I'm excited to get her on and talk to her.
Well, you know, let's get her on then. Let's go find her and get her right here. So here we go.
Sounds good. Courtney Pierce, Paws Humane Society, the executive director. We are so excited to have you on Pets for Family. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Courtney, you and I know each other, Paws Humane Society, but you have such a beautiful and rich history with animal welfare, Paws Humane Society, I think best friends as well. You started one of the very first TNR programs. We want to get to know you. And then also just tell us a little bit more about the work that you've done. And as this is a podcast for pet parents, talk to us about what pet parents may not know about from a standpoint of TNR, what that really means.
Sure. Well, to go back to your question about getting to know me a little bit, I have been in animal services for basically my entire adult life. I started at Muskogee County Humane Society, which merged with another group to form Paws Humane. I left for a little bit to be an animal control officer. I did that for about a year, wanted to kind of see the other side of things. And then I took a job with Best Friends Animal Society. They actually provided the city of Columbus with a large grant for a 3-year effort for TNR. And then eventually after that, made my way back to Paws Humane. But we still have a TNR program. We call it our community cat program. So what that is essentially is we provide spay and neuter for unowned cats living in the community as an alternative to euthanasia for controlling that population. So they get to live their outdoor lives where they're perfectly happy. They have caregivers. I think a lot of people think these cats don't have people that love them. They do. They're just not traditional owners. So they provide food for them, but it's not technically their cats. And a lot of people can't afford the spay neuter services. So that's something that we take care of for them.
You guys do amazing work there. Absolutely. So from a community cat perspective, I find that some cats are often forgotten here. I know in other places that it's really about the dogs.
Yeah.
People tend to forget about those cats. There's an overabundance of cats. And how did this come to be? Meow, where do those cats come from?
So I think dogs typically, hopefully, they live in the home or they're in a fenced backyard. Right. People they can't be confined by a fence. So they get out. If they're not spayed and neutered, then they reproduce. And then If they don't have human contact, they are antisocial. And so it just kind of snowballs from there. They can have, especially here in the South, frequent litters. So it just kind of gets out of control in that regard. But I will say with the TNR program, something that we're really proud of here in Columbus is that our municipal shelter has not had to euthanize a cat for spay since 2015.
Wow.
In the animal shelter world, that's a big deal. That's something to be super proud of because that doesn't happen everywhere for sure.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, if people see cats, how would they know if that cat has been part of that program? And this TNR program, is it only in Columbus? Are there other areas across the nation that have community cat programs? I mean, or is it just only Columbus, Georgia?
No, it's certainly not just Columbus, Georgia. To answer your first question, we do what's called a left ear tip. So if you ever see a cat missing just the very tip of his left ear, that cat has already been through the program. It's been vaccinated, spayed and neutered, and maintained. No, this is happening all over the country. Wow. I know that I think it's Palm Beach, Baltimore, places out in Arizona. I mean, I think every state at this point, several cities has adopted this. And we hope for many more. This is the way to control the population. Previous way is just if they come into the shelter and they're fractious, they're not adoptable, then they were just euthanized, and they were just perfectly happy and healthy outside. They were reproducing and causing a problem. So this is the alternative solution to that.
We have stuff like that here too, Tricia. And what they do here is when they come in and they're just not adoptable, they do the TNR. But there's quite a few shelters here that have worked with a lot of the farmers. And they release them out so that they're barn cats, so that they get to go back out. They get to hunt. And you know what I mean? And the farmers really appreciate it. And the farmers love having them. And, they love being back out and they have a warm place to live and they get fed. Like, they're well taken care of. They just don't have to have the human contact that they don't want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have TNR here. I have a family member in Michigan that does a lot of the trapping too. She's part of the TNR program. It's a great program.
That's phenomenal. Courtney, you guys have got a very cool van. Tell me a little bit about that pink van that gets so noticed throughout Columbus, Georgia.
Yes. Somebody made the decision at some point to make it coral in color, but it certainly gets noticed. So it's a pink, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, van with big cat heads on it. So it definitely gets noticed. And that's our TNR van. So that's what we use to pick up some of the cats and then also take them back out to their homes when they're all finished up.
That's incredible. At Paws Humane, you also have a veterinary clinic. So talk to us a little bit about that veterinary clinic. People are getting in. Are the services that you all are providing, are you doing full service? What exactly are the things that you're offering through your veterinary clinic? And for those of you who may not know, from a standpoint of animal welfare organizations, many of them do not have a veterinary clinic on site. Paws Humane Society is one of those fortunate ones that do have a veterinary clinic on site. And talk to me, Courtney, about the clientele that you all have and how you help within the community, which I just absolutely think is beautiful.
Yeah, certainly. So we're not full service. I think that's a dream of ours to be able to kind of do everything. But in order to help as many people as possible, we kind of have to balance. Full service takes a lot of time with each client. So in order to service the amount of people that we want, we do keep it to wellness and some simple illnesses like skin, eyes, ears, things like that, as well as our spay neuter clinic. So the whole name of the game is to keep it affordable. We want pet parents to be able to have a place to go that they can afford. We do have a few grants where we actually pay for those services. So if it's a matter of finances that are going to make or break them being able to keep their pet, then we will take care of that for them. We have a few. We have some that are zip code related and then others that are kind of like a catch-all. We also have a pit fix. So if you have, if you have anything that looks pitty, we don't breed label, but if it has that standard look where somebody would assume that's a pit bull, then we're going to take care of it for them. That is one of the most dogs in need. And so that there's definitely a need for that. But, we also hold free vaccine clinics so everybody can get their rabies vaccine and be legal within the county. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we do through that. And we're very, very fortunate to have that at our shelter.
You guys are doing such amazing work there. Courtney, you also have a program for, I believe it's Pets for the Family, when the Pets for Life program. What about that? Because you're really going into those communities and you're tying up areas and you're really helping the community. And for people that may not know about this program, what exactly is it and how does that work?
Yeah, so that's one of the programs that we'll use through our clinic. One of the barriers to pet ownership a lot of times is financial instability. This is part of the community that was found to be what we call a resource desert. So there's not a veterinary clinic nearby. And if there is, there's not an affordable one. So sometimes people are faced with, I have to surrender this animal. We don't want them to do that. We want to help them keep that animal. So Pets for Life is one of the programs that does that. We do go into the community, talk to the people, let them know that this is available to them, this resource is available to them. We'll provide basic wellness. If there's, some sort of illness, we'll try to take care of that. We will use external veterinarians for that if we have to. Mm. And then basic things like food. I mean, some people are really struggling just to feed their pets. So that's one of the things that we'll do.
Courtney, you mentioned the lack of veterinary care and also the cost. Right now, really across the nation, there is a crisis, and there's gotten to a point that maybe people may not be able to keep their pets. You all are working towards, as well as other animal organizations, animal welfare organizations, to make sure that you can keep pets in the home. And I believe that you guys have started a brand new program where you're really focused on that and providing resources for people that may not be able to keep their pets. Tell me, I think this is phenomenal, absolutely beautiful.
So yeah, traditionally animal shelters, we've kind of, you can't take care of them, give them to me. We'll do better. And that's just not true. So yeah, our new program is focused just on that. It's a neighborhood pet support program. That person is kind of the liaison. If somebody is struggling, thinking of surrendering their pet, we want to keep them out of the shelter system. And they may not be aware of all the programs that there are available. And it might not even be our program. It might be another animal organization that does a little something different, but they act as the liaison for those people thinking of doing that. Anything from training, it's food, friendly pet housing, anything like that, we'll try to take care of them. Mm-hmm. If it's just not going to work, we try to keep them in the home still. We work with the website Home to Home. So we'll help them get a bio and pictures and take care of any medical needs of that animal. If it's not spayed or neutered yet, needs vaccines, we'll get it posted. So then the owner at least becomes the adoption counselor, and it can go from home to home instead of coming, through the shelter system, which is not best for the animal. So.
Right. What do you think, Courtney, the most difficult thing that pet parents might face or a new adopter might face when they've just recently adopted a cat or a dog? What are some of the things that they need to know or that would perhaps be more educational for them if they've just adopted an animal from you, from any other animal welfare organizations? Are there some misconceptions or things that you think would better educate that pet parent when they're adopting?
Yeah, so we follow the 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months rule. Okay. So I think the most important thing for people to remember when they adopt a pet is, again, we try to keep them out of the shelter, but since they're there, we're very nice, one of the nicest shelters. I'll brag on that for a little bit, but it is very, very stressful. It is very stressful, regardless of how nice. So when a pet is going into a new home, it's a new environment. They will start to decompress. Some of their personality quirks might change a little bit. And it actually does take them about 3 months to totally relax and realize that they're at home.
Yeah.
So again, you'll see some differences in about 3 days and about 3 weeks, and then again in about 3 months. So I think people just need to be patient and give that new animal time and have a little bit of compassion there and imagine what that animal may be going through during all these transitions.
Right. Courtney, do you find that you're adopting more cats than dogs, or is it equal throughout? Is Columbus really a city that are people going more of the cats or the dog way from an adoption standpoint?
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I don't have any data to back it up. This is just kind of observational, but we have noticed that post-COVID, it seems like we're having a harder time with our larger dogs, but we can't keep cats in the shelter. I think our rooms are empty right now. We don't even have any cats for adoption.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I just got the chills for that.
Yeah, that's great though. I mean, if you
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great problem to have. I wish we had it across the board where we just didn't have any dogs or cats. And, we're just kind of waiting on them to come in. And kitten season's coming up. We still, even with our TNR program, we have that. But, we're pretty late to the game. Usually we have a number of kittens ready to go. And right now we just don't. We have some out in foster that just aren't big enough, but nothing in the shelter.
I was gonna say, if you were rescuing, you hear that and you transport. Hello. Courtney's got room for cats.
I expect emails.
Courtney, you talked about big dogs. Why do you think that big dogs are not getting adopted right now? You said post-COVID. What does that mean exactly?
I think as an animal shelter, you can kind of count on certain things. And prior to that, it kind of went with the school system. When people were, the kids were getting out of school, everybody's getting their vacations out of the way. We knew that those couple of weeks were going to be a little bit slower. And as people got into a summer routine, they wanted to bring a new family member in. And, so we can kind of judge trends and things like that. But I think we talked about financial struggles. And I think a lot of people who haven't previously faced that are having to think about things a little bit more. And that's just another addition, something else to think about. So I think people are just being a little bit more careful or wary of having another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Do you also think it could possibly be, you're in Florida, I'm in the Chicago area. So here, because of the size of them, it's, with everybody's financial struggles, they're renting instead of buying right now.
Yeah.
And you cannot, if it's over 45 pounds, good luck on finding a place that'll rent you the large breed.
Well, yeah. And, I mentioned earlier about a lot of what we're seeing is what could be looked at as a pit bull. And a lot of people that are renting because they can't purchase right now, they have breed restrictions, and that really, really hurts us. Again, we don't breed label, so nothing on our paperwork is going to say that it's a pit bull because there's 1,000 combinations that can make a dog have a square head and short coat. But that is a real issue. And here in Columbus, we're right next to Fort Benning. So a lot of our adopters actually come from Fort Benning, and the whole housing market there has a ban on what they consider the dangerous breeds. So
aren't there efforts, Courtney, right now going on for breed specific and renters and legislation like that? Jessica, am I correct in that? There's a lot of different efforts going on right now. I hope they get passed through because that's a big problem, not only in Columbus, Georgia, but in Florida and Chicago and throughout because of the stigma of pit bulls. And you look around now, more and more animals are quote unquote that mixed breed or mixed pitty. So yeah.
But you got to also remember not every state's doing it. So it's going to take forever for that to get time everywhere.
A lot of time. Courtney, you have a big event coming up, don't you? Is it Barks and Blues coming up here pretty soon? Very excited. Talk to us about, I know one of your biggest fundraisers coming up here very shortly.
Yeah, it's May 20th. So just under a month away. So we're getting all the last minute stuff together, but it's going to be pretty big this year. We have about 30 vendors, 6 or 7 food trucks, a kids zone. We've got, I think, 4 bands lined up. This year we did a little something different. Normally we do, local bands only, which we certainly want to showcase them because they're part of our community. But we expanded a little bit out to Atlanta, and we are bringing in Slippery When Wet, which is the ultimate Bon Jovi tribute band. I, for one, am excited about that. We had talked about what band, because we have a lot of people who come out. They're younger people, my age, older people, what band speaks to everybody. And I don't think I know a person that doesn't know a Bon Jovi song. So
what's your favorite Bon Jovi song? And can you sing it to us right now?
I will not do that. I like a lot of them. That was actually my first concert when I was 12. My dad took me to 4th row to see Bon Jovi, and that was an experience.
Oh my gosh, this has got to be near and dear to your heart. Jessica, do you know any Bon Jovi songs that you just want to shout out or sing right now?
I know a lot of Bon Jovi songs, but I am not singing. I sound like a bullfrog in heat singing. I mean, seriously, I am not singing for anybody. I don't even like my voice on here, let alone singing for you people.
Oh my God. So I just got a visual of a bullfrog in heat. Unfortunately, it's not the best of images right now. What is exactly is a bullfrog in heat? Oh my God.
Awful. Awful.
Oh my God.
My dad used to say to me when we were singing in church, he's like, you are horrible. And I was like, diddle. He says, my dad's just as bad. Leroy, you sound just as bad as I do.
Courtney, how can we serve you? What do you think that our audience needs to know? And how can we help you with our platform and creating awareness for you? And how can people get in touch with Paws Humane Society? They hear about this. They want to know more information. They want to go to see Slippery When Wet, head to Barks and Blues. How can they get a hold of you? And what can we help you with?
Sure. Just visit our website at pawshumane.org. We also, if you're interested in Barks and Blues alone, just to kind of get more information, you can go to barksandblues.com to get more info on that specifically. You can also give us a call at 706-565-0035 if you have any questions about anything. And for those who are listening locally, I'm sorry?
I said, you're brave. I won't even give out my phone number. You're a brave girlfriend.
Sorry.
Somebody else answers it.
That's not my personal number. That is the number to the shelter.
Are you sure about
that? Well, now you're making me question.
Just had to put it out there. You're brave,
Oh my gosh. Courtney, it has just been a delight having you today. Super excited for our audience to find out more about you. We're a pet parenting podcast, but we really focus on real things that pet parents need to know. And from our perspective, a lot of people don't know about community cats. They don't know about TNR. And I think this is a really important discussion for them, as well as understanding more about the things that pet parents that animal welfare organizations are going through, and really some of the things that they can do. So we appreciate you spending your morning with us. You can spend a lot of time with anybody. We thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
All right. What do you think of that? Seriously, you want me to sing? Come on.
I do. I wanted you to belt out a song.
Oh, no. I didn't even like singing in church when I was a kid. I'm horrible. I don't even like the sound of my own voice. It's funny because we do this together and I love doing the podcast, right? Totally love it. And I have you preview our podcast. I don't ever re-listen to our podcast because I'm like, I don't want to hear my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do make sure that it's all right and stuff like that. But I sound horrible. Nobody likes the sound of their own. Nobody likes the sound of their own voice. Let's face it. You want me to sing? Come on.
I did living on the prayer.
Oh, Bon Jovi.
You are so professional because you're because you coach students and you coach the pet industry. And it's really interesting because you're always very poised and your voice is always succinct. And I think what a lot of people don't know about you is that you do coach, Jessica, and you talk to people about doing Zooms and doing all these different things. And I find that fascinating about you.
Yeah, I'm really good at sitting still too, aren't I?
You are.
I usually sit like this. And I just listen. I was told by a certain gentleman in your life that I need to take my hands away and smile, right, Doug, when you listen to this? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be closed off. I'm just trying to put my hand somewhere else, But yeah, I'm a good listener.
And we're figuring things out as we go. Really, from a standpoint of just, we're human. I love this. And it's going to be interesting 6 months from now or a year from now to look at the early podcast or the things that we're doing, go back through them and see hopefully how maybe I've improved a little bit. I have a tendency to get excited and I talk fast. And so it's really just slowing things down and slowing and speaking slowly and succinctly. As a certain veterinarian, I think it was Dr. Phil Petrid in Chicago said, always speak slowly and succinctly. So learning that little thing there, but still letting your personality shine too. But Courtney was lovely. I loved learning more about them. I used to be the CEO of Paws Humane Society and just seeing them and what's been accomplished with that organization through the pandemic, after the pandemic. And Courtney Pierce, as their executive director, has just done an incredible job with, I believe, the home to home program and keeping pets in the home and having their focus. And being in animal welfare, I think we talked about this with Liz McCauley. Gosh darn it, it's not an easy job. You work 70 hours a week, 65, 70 hours a week, and you see so many things, and the compassion fatigue and getting people in right now into animal welfare and keeping those jobs, it's hard. So commending and praising those animal welfare workers for what they do and the love and the passion for what they do. So definitely go visit Paws Humane Society and see the great things that they're doing. And if you're in the Alabama, Columbus, anywhere near, go to that Barks and Blues. I will not be singing because I don't know if I'll be there or not, but feel free to hit me up on our email if you want a personal song for me. I can do that all day long.
I just love, and I love the fact she gave out her phone number. I'm like, oh my God, you were a brave soul, man. Brave soul. I mean, we're building our following, but I'm hoping in 6 months that we'll have a huge following. And I'm still thinking, oh, you're so brave. So brave.
Definitely. So I questioned them. Like, is that really the Paws number? Is that your phone number?
I'm just going to share this last tidbit with you before we go. But, when I was in my early 20s, okay, I'm an old lady now, but when I was in my...
Is that yesterday?
Yeah, right. I wish, no, my wrinkles give away that one. But when I was in my early 20s and I was dating, right? And if I didn't like the gentleman that came up to me and asked me for my phone number, I gave him Little Caesar's phone number in my town. I had Little Caesar's phone number memorized. And it was hilarious because one of my really good friends of the family, one of their kids got a job at Little Caesar's. And he was like, hey, Jess, do you realize that people call for you here? And I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I used to get out their phone number and be like, and they would answer and be like, Caesar's. I was such a bad person, but I did. It was easier instead of just saying, hey, no, I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want that confrontation. So I gave out Little Caesar's phone number. So if you're dating and you're young and you don't want to give out your own phone number, memorize a pizza joint's phone number.
That not only do we give pet parenting tips and advice and different share education, we also have dating advice for you too. And so feel free to contact us for anything here. If you don't know the pizza place in your area, let us know. We can maybe look that up for you online and pass that off to you. You're a heartbreaker.
Oh,
you're so bad. I was just glad to get somebody to call me.
My trade secrets, right, are coming out. Yep. And I used to go by Samantha and I drove dump trucks.
FYI. There you go.
Right. Yeah, it's awful. But anyway, I'm going to leave you on that note. How's that sound? So
that sounds lovely.
On that note, there you go. There's some fun fact that people don't know about me, Next week, we'll find a fun fact about you. How's that?
I think not.
All right. Well, we can't wait to talk to you next week. And remember, if there's anybody or any topic you want us to talk about, feel free to let us know. Yep.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I was going to bring it on. I bet you we can talk about it. We'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon. And remember, pets are family. How do you make your pet feel like family? Talk to you soon, guys. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on Spotify or wherever you're listening to us today. If you want to reach out to us, feel free to find us on petsourfamily.net or any of our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And we want to remind you, pets are family. Have a good one. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.